Solving percent equations is taking a couple different skills, but the good news is we do the same thing every single time when we do translations. There are 4 basic things that we need to remember to do our translations. And the first one is just really to note or to remind ourselves, I guess, that of means that we are going to multiply. That is really is just saying that equal sign. And then this can be expressed a variety of ways, but it's really, it's the question mark, it's the what or the what number, because that's our variable. Oops, there we go. And then the percent, of course, has to be replaced with something numerical. And we have 2 choices. We can put in 0.01 or we can use 1/100th. Remember, 0.01, if we were to read that, would read 1/100th. So these are exactly the same, except they're expressed one as a decimal and one as a percent. When we do these percent equations, we simply translate those equations based on the above key, based on, on these keywords, and then we simply solve. So let's go ahead and do an example. So we have this sentence, 25% of 60 is what number? So we're just going to go ahead and start translating this to numbers and symbols. So 25, and we know percent, we said we're going to replace that either with 0.01 or 1/100th. Most of you are probably going to choose the 0.01, so I'm going to use that most of the time here. Of, remember, means multiplication. 60 is equal, what number? There's our x. So now we've gotten rid of all the words, it's all numbers. We can see that all the numbers are on the same side of the equal sign, and all we have to do then is multiply all this stuff. So we're just going to go in order, not for any reason other than at this point I think it's easier to help keep yourself focused. So you just do 25 times 0.01. Oops, I lost my decimal. There we go. Times 60 is equal to x. And then, of course, we multiply that by 60, and we get 15. So 25% of 60 is 15. Our next problem says 22 is 44% of what number? So again, we're just making translations. 22 is 44%. We're going to use 0.01 because that's what you guys normally like. Of what number? So of multiply times x. So I'm going to multiply these guys together. Now I want to divide out that coefficient that I've got here. It doesn't matter that it's kind of an ugly coefficient because it's a decimal. It still works exactly the same. So now we've got our x alone, and we divide 22 by 0.44, and we get 50. I'm going to do just a couple more so you can see variations on the theme. The first 2 were pretty much a standard, nothing too exciting, but this first one here on this new set says what percent, so what is x? Percent, again, 0.01 of times 80 is equal 25. So we do x, and then we multiply these, so we got 0.8. And I put the 80 there just for those of you who like to see it. You don't need that 0. And then, of course, our next step is to divide out the number next to the variable. So that leaves me with x, and then we just take 25 and divide it by 0.8, and we get 31.25. And that's all there is to it. it says what percent. So we have to remember that this is a percent. It looks funny to us, but it doesn't matter. It's 31.25%. So remember that it was looking for percent. We don't have to do any moving or any changing because we used this. So we don't have to change the decimal or move anything like that. All we have to do at this point is to remember to add that percent back in. And the next one just says 40%. So 40% of what number is 30? So you see how once you get used to doing these, you can make these translations pretty quickly. You just have to be comfortable with those 4 key words that we were talking about at the top or at the beginning of this video. So I do this multiplication and I get 0.4x. I'm going to divide by 0.4. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. That leaves me with my x is equal to, and again, you just do your little division. And it says 40% of what number is 30, so this is saying that 40% of 75 is 30.